Hi and welcome to You Old and Retro. My name is Vincent and welcome to another video. Today I have an unboxing of the Nikon Keymission 170. This is an action camera which was released roughly, I think it was announced in 2016 or released in around 2017. It's not been out too long. This was released around about the time of roughly the Gopro 4/5 period of timings. So the specs are comparable to the GoPro Hero 5, that's what you could say. I mean, the whole thing is it's a constantly improving market now. I mean, even GoPro themselves are getting themselves into financial issues at the point. At the beginning of the year, they asked or looking at potentially getting a buyer for their company themselves. So when Nikon released this, they priced this quite high. It was around about £300 to £400, or somewhere around that region. So at that point, that was the top spec model of pretty much any GoPro. I mean, the GoPros around this time for GoPro Hero 5 is around about £300, and GoPro Hero 6 is £400. You can probably get it a little bit cheaper on Amazon, but that's the rough pricing of what it was back then. But now this has been slashed to 150 UK pounds, and that's a really good steal. I mean, I think the E4K at this point in time is roughly, that's the first, I think it's the second gen one, not the UK 4K plus with the 60 frames 4K. That's roughly about 250 at the moment, or two roughly. So the original 4K E4K is about 160, 170 pounds at this point in time as of this video. Without further ado, so the thing about this is already shockproof and waterproof. So the whole thing is actually for 150. Even a cheap knockoff £100 action cameras can't get this sort of decent build quality for this price, basically. So for 150 is a really good price. And what I suspect is that Nikon are either going to be exiting the Keymission sort of action camera business, because they must be either hemorrhaging money because this didn't sell too well, or they're planning on releasing or clearing the stock out now to release the next version of Keymission 172 or a second version of these. I'm not entirely sure how well they've sold with these, to be fair. So the good thing, this comes with the camera itself. It comes with a remote control, base adapter, adhesive mounts, and an underwater lens adapter protector. So that's pretty handy, and obviously it doesn't really need a case because it's already waterproof and shockproof. So it says includes a rechargeable battery, AC adapters, which is basically a surprise given how a lot of things just charge by USB, not even come with an adapter anymore. Different base adapters, remote control, underwater lens protector, the lens protector itself, which is already installed, I believe, user manual, and a warranty. It's pretty much just the same on each side of the box. So basically, this is sort of like the underwater footage you can take with it. Some images of the box itself. Uses a snap bridge, which is the app that they use. I mean, I presume that this is a bit like the GoPro app, but obviously probably not as advanced. So it's Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. It's got Android, Apple certified. Basically made for the apps. It's got HDMI slot. It does use micro SDXC slots, so it can, I believe, I read reports that it takes 64 to 128 gig cards quite easily. So let's open this up, and then inside we have Keymission manual, which is quick start guide. Also includes German languages, French, and is that Dutch, and I think. So that's basically European languages around here. We have a pamphlet for pairing for iOS users, and then you also have a pamphlet for Android users. And then you have a little pamphlet for Wi-Fi connections for iOS. So you can check this up to how you want. Comes with a little postcard style French thing about sharing my mission, the English version of that. So your mission to catch your experience is just Gopro on rewarding, so keymission.com. Probably if you share it you can win some prizes potentially, and obviously it comes with some additional other languages here, and it's got a safety manual, which is obviously a key standard for any electronic these days. So let's put that away. In the box itself, we have a remote. So that's really quite handy. You could obviously get this strapped to your wrist, or at some point it's got like little areas for attaching to a strap of some sort, and it comes with a battery separately, so that's really nice. It's obviously good for creating functions. You switch it on and off as well, take photos and record videos, so quite clicky features. Little light LED on there, so that's nice. Comes with the AC adapter as explained. This looks like this is like an adapter panel, so I presume they you click the USB thing on in a minute. And yep, this is the USB adapter, so I'm presuming you plug the adapter straight into, just looking at how it all works. You probably push this adapter straight into here, and it becomes a USB adapter from the bottom. So quite clear cuts there. Comes with on the water mount, I believe this is. Yep, it's basically a sheet of toughened glass, I presume, all sealed in, so that when you screw thread this in, it has got additional seals in, seals the lens and stops debris from going straight into those little bits and obviously clunking on the camera. I mean, the camera itself is waterproof, but obviously that's just how it protects it from like little bits and rocks that will be in the oceans or in slightly deeper diving. Comes with a USB cable. This tells you to use this cable only, but I presume that's probably because it's magnetized in some way. Also comes with the mount. So this is, I'll click onto one of the mounts already. Does have a little button here, which I presume locks it into position for when you screw in place. So that's quite nice. You can obviously use this on the strap itself as well, so it doesn't have to necessarily be a decent mount, so it's quite nice. There's also an additional mount. This was slightly curved, slightly rounded, so obviously if you've got a bag or something similar, or helmet, this can stick on the helmet without it sticking out. These are quite easy, and I presume it uses a Gopro style mount by itself. This is the unit itself. I think I see the battery there as well as that. Let's pick up the battery first. the battery itself is here. It uses the ENEL12 style batteries, which are, I believe, used in a lot of their compact cameras as well. So this is 1050 milliamps, which is not too great a size. Apparently it records about an hour in 4K. I do know that the Gopro cameras and something like the 4K can record for longer, given their slightly bigger batteries. But you can obviously get cheaper batteries like this, and at this price, I'm not asking for too much, to be fair. So this thing goes straight in, so you do contacts, will go straight into here, straight down there, and then obviously you also have a mini HDMI, and then the micro USB goes in there, and obviously there's a micro SD card slot. It's quite nice, it clicks straight in, and this is all rubberized here, so that goes straight. It does dual lock, so it doesn't obviously slip out randomly. You basically can't pull that down without unclocking this. At the front of the camera, there's a little LED icon there. You do get a sort of camera style sort of mount that if it does fall on its face, unless it's sharp judging rock on any flat surfaces, this will protect the lens from standard like knocks and niggles. It does have recording on here, so you obviously got two buttons, one for recording via video, so you just press that, and one just recording taking pictures, you just press that, which is quite handy because you don't just keep messing around with the menu. So I'm not sure it's got any power in this battery at all. I'm not sure that's right, you press it on, so you hold it to press it on, which is quite easy actually, I must admit. And I presume you hold it to switch it off as well. Maybe I should set it up. No, yeah, there you go. Switch it straight off there. So we'll switch it over. If I set it up now, and then it uses rather than a touch screen, it uses a very simple menu button. So obviously, even with gloves, you can operate this. So obviously, I'll be using English. It goes a little snap bridge. Use snap bridge to send photos online. So I'll do that later. Okay. I'm going to set the time and date. And then, so all very simple. So if I just, today's dates would be, in fact I can't even remember what the date is today. Today's date is the 20th, isn't it? So let's just set this up first. And then let's just make it okay. So it's not got a lot of battery, unfortunately. Or rather, it's saying it's got no memory card, so you can't record. It's on 1080p and 25p. It's very wide angle, in fact. So scrolling into some of the features. So if we look at the movie modes, you got the standard mode, you can add them for. So standard movie is like that. Movie options, so obviously you can choose to do high speed, 50p. This is the PAL mode, admittedly, so I believe so. You can also do some other stuff as well. Your underwater balance modes, color options, which is nice. Different camera settings, you can obviously change the monitor settings, brightness, photo infill, back, sound settings, auto off. So you want it auto off after like 5 seconds or like that, or 30 seconds, or 5 minutes. so maybe you just want to set it at 30 seconds. I presume that's the screen auto off, so you obviously don't want the screen wasting a lot of power as you go along. You set the remote function button on the actual Nikon remote. LED brightness, obviously you can lower that to as low as possible. Charge by computer, auto. So there's definitely a lot of different things in this, and this is already on version 1.2, which I believe is the latest actual firmware. I did have a check before I went onto this. And then it's all in all very nice. You can change from NTSC to PAL. There's lots of people like to have 60p, so you can obviously go to NTSC. It doesn't really matter in this case, but it's just a function of how I believe UK and Europe work compared to America and some other standards. So when you're changing some of the display things, I think it's 24 frames is generally how it's meant to be, which is why I think it's 25p. It's not too clear cut on video editing, but that's some of the different standards that have come about. It's a bit annoying really, but that's how it is. So different modes, since that's configured up to 30p from before. Believe you can change some more options. So there you have, that's the 4K mode, 30 frames, 60p, high speed, some other stuff there. So wind noise reduction, maybe you don't really need that really. Vibration off, so you really want that on really. So you can do time lapse, and you can do 5 seconds. So maybe you want 5 seconds now. Oh, that's quite nice. Got a lock off. And then if you took the video now, it would do that. I mean, it's flashing now because it's got a memory card. Not set that up yet. But all in all, really nice. I mean, what other function is this? Oh, that's the switching off. Oh, that's quite handy. So you don't have to press this as well. So that's a really nice chunky unit. I mean, this twists off. So you can obviously attach the lens cover for undersea diving. But this uses, I believe, Nikon's own technology for the sensors. It's not using the Sony sensors that are a lot of action cameras. That's it. This is the Nikon Keymission 170. It's a really good steal at the moment. The UK price of 150. That's when I tried to get hold of this. It was completely sold out in Argos. A lot of places like Currys are starting to run low on stock of this, because at this price, 150 takes it into the budget level. But what you're getting is a really solid piece of action camera kit, which is really amazing. It does 4K, takes it basically. What you can do with the 4K, the standard most popular model, you can do with this. So this does the 4K, does the 1080 high frame rate type stuff, but in all behind a much more renowned Nikon brand. Whereas the E4K is much more a known brand. I mean, it would be great if they sold the E4K in shops in the UK, but on the moment all I can see is it's usually on Amazon for around about 150, 60, 70 pounds more, and at this price I can buy an extra spare battery and get some additional things for this that they can't get for the E4K. Well, I can get for the E4K, but for more additional money, so this bumps it up, the battery life and all stuff like that. So, and the batteries for this are quite standard. Definitely, it's the same camera battery style as I said before. They're compact cameras, so definitely a complementary product to the range. a lot of ones I look forward to using. So my name is Vincent, thanks for watching. Hope you take a thumbs up for this video and have a nice day.